Hey there, folks. Thanks for tuning in. And today we're going to take a look at one of the most colorful custom frame bags you have ever seen. And this is a custom frame bag from Cedaero, and it is indeed very colorful. One of my favorite custom frame bags I think I've ever owned just because of the colors itself. But why is this custom frame bag different from others? Well, we'll get into that in a second here. But just for context, Cedaero is a company that is based out of Two Harbors, Minnesota. And if you're unfamiliar with Two Harbors, it is up on the north shore of Minnesota, a beautiful location overlooking Lake Superior. Two Harbors is roughly 30 miles north of Duluth, Minnesota. So it's really in a great location for testing products. If you also want more information on Cedaero, I did a site visit not too long ago, which is on BIKEPACKING.com, and I will put that in the show notes, and you can read all about the history of the owner and kind of what they have going on up there. So Cedaero made this specific bag for my salsa bear grease. The initial reason I needed the bag was mostly for winter ultras, but it actually ended up seeing more time just commuting to and from work. In the winter here in Minnesota, I'm basically commuting in the snow, the slush, sometimes the rain. So it took on commutes from basically the fall all the way to the spring for almost two winters now. All I had to do is take a photo with a ruler on top. I'm sure many of you have done that before, but it's in there in custom frame bag instructions. So it was super easy. I kind of let them pick and choose the colors, and they ran with it. So Cedaero actually only uses waxed canvas, and then they also use Cordura, as you see on this bag. Cordura is great because it's durable, it has a DWR finish, and Cedaero has a bunch of awesome colors to choose from. I would say maybe the only downside is it can be a little bit heavier than, say, an X-Pack, but really it's negligible. The really neat thing about this bag, obviously, is we have a handful of different 1000 denier Cordura fabric colors. And they also kind of paired it up nicely with a black contrast that sits on the bike frame itself. So the down tube, the seat tube, and the top tube. The biggest concern I had about this bag was this bubble zipper. This is a number 9 coil zipper. I've had some pretty bad luck with zippers in the past, and typically the zippers do end up failing over time, but this one's held up great, and it actually glides almost the same as day one. So the body of the bag is actually made out of some foam padding, which kind of gives its shape, the ability to kind of stand up like this. It has foam padding on the top tube, the down tube, and the seat tube, so that kind of helps protect the contents inside the bag as well as help protect the frame. The bag is attached via these Velcro straps as well as 4 brass bolts that would mount directly into the frame. You have 2 on the down tube and 2 on the seat tube. The bag fits the frame extremely well, sitting flush with all corners of the frame and leaving no gaps. The bolts match up to the frame as well, and the only thing I found difficult with the bolts was kind of installing them to the frame. It's just a little bit of an awkward maneuver to tighten them down. I found using a smaller 3mm Allen key worked really well. The frame bag does kind of taper at the top. It's not as wide as some frame bags I've had, especially some fat bike frame bags, but you definitely will not have any leg rub, any calf rub with this frame bag, and I'm sure you can customize it based on your wants, needs, and desires. One accessory that this bag comes with is this hydration port. You can run a hydration hose or even electronics through here, and the way they designed it with this overlap of the Cordura, it'll kind of shed any of the elements off of the top of the bag. So the outside has that 1000 denier Cordura. You take a look on the inside of the bag, and it's got a silver fabric, which is a 200 denier Cordura. They went with silver just so that you can actually see the contents inside the bag. It kind of gives it a little contrast, which is super nice when you're kind of rummaging through the frame bag looking for a specific item. On the drive side of the bag, we have 2 little pockets that hold smaller belongings. I've held my phone in here, CO2, maybe even a multi-tool. They sit really nicely within the pocket for easy access. Taking a look at the non-drive side, we have that number 9 coil bubble zipper on this side as well. And then opening it up, it's just a main full compartment that kind of stops 3/4 of the way down to the bottom of the bag. And this is super nice that it actually doesn't go all the way to the bottom, because you can definitely end up losing some of your belongings down there. And looking just at the stitching and the overall construction of the bag, it's super professional, especially with the added layers of cordura they added in. Just the stitching is super symmetrical. I did notice just a little bit the sides kind of stretched out, especially after I jammed a bunch of stuff in there for some winter races like the Arrowhead 135. But outside of that, everything has held up really well, and especially the zipper that I was most concerned about. One thing to make note of: if the bag is submerged in water, it definitely will seep through, especially through these the bolt holes that they kind of just burned through the bottom of the bag and on the seat tube of the bag here. That being said, it definitely kept the elements out, riding through snow, slush, sleet, rain, and everything in between. So this bag does come in at 440 grams, and yes, that is a little bit on the heavier side, but with the foam padding paired with the cordura, it's just made to be a little bit more durable than some other bags out there. The bag does start at $200 and kind of goes up from there based on a variety of accessories that you might want, and you can find all of that on their website at Cedaero.com. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer them for you. And overall, I've really enjoyed using this bag. I've owned quite a few frame bags, and a lot of them have been really awesome. This one definitely stacks up among the best. I think it stands out the most with the color that they added to it, and just the integrity and structure has been superb. So until our next video, please take care and pedal further.